Hello friends, my name is Jimmy Singh. I'm broker owner of Supermax Realty 647-961-2639, or you can visit me at my website www.supermaxrealty.ca. In today's video, I'm going to discuss top 7 mistakes which first time real estate investors make buying their first property in Greater Toronto Area, Hamilton, Golden Horseshoe, London real estate. Friends, a real estate investment is the simplest, predictable way for an average person like you and me to achieve $1 million net worth quickly, because there's a leverage involved. You put 20% of your own money and banks give you 80%, 90% on the property. But you have to be cautious before you do any investments. Ask yourself 3 questions. Number one, what's your goal? What do you like to achieve out of it? So let's say if you have young kids, you want to pay off their education, you know that in 20 years time, if they want to be a doctors, lawyers, engineers, the education cost is getting very expensive. So if that's your goal, you should focus on setting your portfolio in such a way that they will appreciate in good neighborhood. And at the same time, if you're a retiree, you want less risky real estate investments in good neighborhood with a solid return on your investment. And second thing is, know your plan. What's your strategy A, strategy B, strategy C? And if you buy for appreciation and suddenly market slows down, are you willing to hold on to the property and rent it for a couple of years? Third is, know your risk tolerance. It's easy, when we see those glamorized TV shows, and then they show you within 15 minutes people make $200,000 or in half an hour. Life is not that simple as it seems. So there might be some work involved. So first you have to sit and do your risk analysis. What kind of investor are you? Are you an active investor or are you a passive investor? How much you want to commit to day-to-day management of your property? Do you want to do for yourself, or you want to hire professionals to manage it for you? And I'll give you an example. Let's say if you're doing pre-construction condos, brand new homes, that's kind of passive investment. You put your money to work, and and then basically you just keep the property for appreciation. Second thing is active management. You buy student rentals, you buy multi-unit properties, and then you're just buying for cash flow, but you're okay working to manage those units properties. So when I work with many investors, like over 15 years, I own my own rental properties and I manage lot of properties for my clients. But over course of last decade or 15 years, I have find this common 6 to 7 mistakes which all first time investors make, and I'm going to discuss all those mistakes in today's video. Number one mistake they do is they don't do much down payment. Obviously if you're a first time buyer, you can buy a property 5 to 10% down as your primary residence, live there for a couple of years, and then move out and rent it as an investment property. But then as soon as you move out, property will stop making cash flow because there's so much expensive. Like, we don't calculate cash flow properly. Typically, average investors think cash flow is what is the expense minus your mortgage, principal, interest, or taxes, or condo fee. Whatever you net, that is basically your cash flow. But many people don't think it through. Let's say, for example, let's say you're buying an older property. It do need maintenance. So if let's say there's some toilet problem, or says appliances that break down, you need to keep 5 to 10% towards your maintenance cost. Then let's say if it's an out of town property, you need to pay a property manager 5 to 10% of the rental amount. That is another expense. And third thing is, you want to make sure you have vacancy rate as well. So let's say if you have a 1-year lease and your lease is expiring in middle of winter, or let's say December or November, and it is kept vacant for a month or two, that is money out of your pocket. So you have to also foresee that as well. So whatever rental you're getting, make sure 5 to 10% you keep as a vacancy rate. Fourth thing mostly required in older properties like student rentals or 20, 30, 40 year property is the long-term capital appreciation fund. So what you do is whatever rental you're generating, make sure you're keeping money aside for window replacement, roof, furnace, foundation, water tank. So if you put all these factors into the cash flow system, you will see, actually you need to make more down payment versus traditional like 10%, 20%, which is required as a second property anyhow. And if you're buying a condo or any investment property in GTA, I don't think so they will cash flow until you do 25, 30, 35% down these days. And a lot of my investors over the years, they have shifted now to secondary markets, London, Hamilton, Kitchener-Waterloo. But these things have to be considered. So that is the number first mistake, is you make assumption that just by pay off mortgages you will net extra cash flow. Cash flow is very critical, guys, but don't focus on cash flow alone, because if you focus on cash flow alone, you miss a big picture. Because in last couple of years, prices have gone crazy. Like I have seen London. Right now, we are doing this video in August of 2020. So since last year, prices have gone for certain property types 15 to 18% appreciation. Similarly, if you buy in Hamilton, Greater Toronto, certain pockets have done very well. So if you're looking for a beat down market, far away, let's say in Windsor or wherever, looking for a cash flow property, and then it requires your full-time, management as well, you miss the boat. Because some of my investor clients in last 4 or 5 years, they have doubled their investments in GTA and around those areas, because there's, land is in short supply and there's tons of demand. So keep a big focus, and then obviously you can fine tune your plan. Okay? Second thing you want to do is, I find some investors that get too ambitious to acquire lots of units right away. They go to these seminars, they buy programs which are based not in Canada, maybe out different countries. They buy those coaching programs and they say buy multiple units, maybe buy apartment building, maybe buy 6-plex, 5-plex, 4-plex. But you have to understand, guys, don't bite more than what you can chew. So what I mean by that is, you have to focus. When I started my own journey in 2003, I was focused more on quality of tenants, because I don't have time, to run around fix toilets, and then the more the people, the more the headache. So let's say if you have a student rental, or let's say you have a 5-plex, 4-plex, 3-plex, that is good for an experienced investor. But let's say if you're just starting out, and cash flow might look good in numbers, you can ask the agents about the cash flow, everything looks good and dandy on the paper, but you have to understand there's 3 appliances, 3 washrooms, 3 kitchens, 3 toilets, everything is multiplied. And if you put one lousy tenant, you will be draining it. He will drain you out of your financial health. So let's say example, in London, let's say if you have a townhouse which is fetching you $2,000 in rent, and it costs you $450,000 and getting you $2,100, but it is in a good school district, amenities are close by, lots of good families with good income, they want to buy there because their kids want to go. It is safe, there's no crime there, right? Versus you buy a triplex or 5-plex in one of the rundown areas in the city, whatever city, right? And then you're maybe giving each room for $500, $600, $700. Cash flow might look good, but your problems also multiply. So just keep in mind, quality is more important. And once you get, hang off this real estate investing, then you climb the ladder. And down the line, you can buy apartment building, commercial plazas. But to start, for a beginner person, I strongly recommend, focus on quality versus quantity. And because if you just focus on cash flow, and then, those 6-7 tenants in a house give you a hard time, and, there's a lot of money at risk, and it's not worth it. Third point you want to do is, you want to make sure when you buy these properties, don't buy into hype. I hear advertising, I'm on the news, I'm a real estate broker, so I hear this all the time. Buy in Niagara Falls, buy herever, and then the hype says pay only ridiculous like $1,000, $2,000. Don't buy investment property just because of low deposit structure. That's the biggest scam and biggest mistake I see. I do understand if you're a first time buyer, you don't have much savings, you want to buy time with money. But for an investor, I see these things day in, day out. Because if it's a good investment at the right property, placement, Builders don't need to promote those kind of plans. You know what I mean? They know it will sell itself. So when you buy in far areas, I have clients calling me, buy in Paris, whatever, right? So I tell them, guys, when you want to rent it, what kind of people you would rent to. You can buy a nice property and on the paper agent can show you cash flow, buy Niagara Falls, put an Airbnb, this and that. But if the tourists are not coming and not many jobs are in that town or city, whom are you going to rent it? You're just buying then speculating that it's going to go up in value. Yes, property did go up in value in Niagara Falls had you bought 6-7 years ago. But right now, if you're buying for like 2022, 2024, you are paying future value now. So just think it through before you make a decision, and don't make a decision just based on low down payment or deposit structure. Investment has to make sense, and then you have to see if the economy goes down, people lose job, which city is more prone to bankruptcies. And let's say if the city is just focused on student rentals and suddenly international students don't come and we have COVID relapse for next 6, 7, 8 months, how are you going to sustain? You can't keep putting money or throwing money in the furnace. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, be very, very careful. And then if you want to buy out of town properties, we do manage properties for our clients all over GTA, Southern Ontario, London, Kitchener-Waterloo, because I have my own real estate brokerage. I own my property management company, and we have team of agents who take care of our clients, right? So if you buy it, call a local property manager and then talk to the person who you're buying property. Make sure you get an after sales service. It's not simply buying a property, then you're on your own, then it defeats all the purpose, because you're busy with your family, you're busy with your life, you don't have time to run around 1 hour, 2 hours, right? So that is very, very critical. When you buy property far away places, that is number one thing. Second thing is, don't be subjective. So let's say I see sometimes clients coming from Brampton looking to buy property in London, then they start imagining, oh, this 1600 square feet townhouse in Brampton costs 700,000, in London is cost 450. Why are you comparing? London is London, Brampton is Brampton. You know what I mean? So you need to understand, local conditions. You need to see the tenant profile, what kind of tenants are buying here. If you're investing for flipping or you're looking to, book a brand new house, you need to see what's going on, in the economy. What are the drivers in the economy in the local industry? What kind of top schools or universities are there? What kind of highways are accessible in that city? Is the city growing or people leaving the city? So those are all the factors you have to keep in mind. And then guys, 6th point is get a good mentor. When I start buying my first property, back in 2003, 2004, I was lucky that I met a broker in my own brokerage when I start as a broker. He has multitude of apartment buildings and rentals. So I asked him, I took him to lunch, I pick his brain, I asked him how to start. So, it's very, very important for you to, sit with like-minded people, who are very positive, but at the same time, they have to have a plan how you can achieve the wealth and achieve your goals. Because person with lot of knowledge or experience will, save you thousands of dollars and save you a lot of headache. So that is number thing, get a good mentor. And 7th thing you want to do is don't buy different style of properties. Obviously, if you're experienced investors, you can buy duplex, triplex, student rental, condo, single family home. But for me, what I found is single family homes work, because I'm just dealing with one family, one tenant. I have my own life, I have my own family, my business. I can't run around, hearing nuisance. There's like one person is fighting with the other, they're making noise. I don't have that patience. So I focus on single family homes and I focus on condos. That's my forte. But yes, I do sell apartment buildings. I do sell triplex, duplex for my clients. That is, know your risk tolerance, right? And last thing you want to do is screen tenants properly. Don't shortcut, right? Number one mistake I see is, people don't screen thoroughly, and then basically it's a big disaster or financial challenge. If you go online, just simple Google or reading newspaper headlines will tell you there are professional scammers out there. They prey on newbies, new investors who don't have experience, and then basically they pay first and last. After that, they are done. Then you have to evict them. Sometimes it takes 3 months, sometimes it takes 1 year. And recently there was a case in Toronto Star where they have to one person keep renting property, I think in Toronto or Richmond Hill, maybe 10, 15 properties, and he rent each room and making like 10,000, 8,000 every month from each property. So they are professionals, you know what I mean? So you need to be very thorough and diligent and take time, you know what I mean? It's just sometimes, you know your mortgage, you close your house and suddenly your mortgage is coming out of your account and you get a little stressed out, and then you start putting ads in Kijiji left and right, and then whatever first person shows up in your house, you just rent it. You know what I mean? That's not very smart way, or that's not the way, you should make financial decisions. It's just you go to bank and say, I need a $500,000 property. They will ask you 20 questions. They'll ask you notice of assessment for 2 years. They will ask your bank statement. They will pull your credit, and then, they will create your net worth statement. If banks do that, why not you? You are giving a rental like $500,000 to a stranger. Why not you do it? What if he destroys? And last night I was reading news that people were growing marijuana in Niagara region, and the police caught like tons of people there doing illegal business, right? So guys, you have to be careful if you're buying out of town areas. Get knowledgeable about the area, see what the main problems are, and then a good knowledgeable agent will always save you headache and guide you in a direction where you will be safe, because it's a big risky, right? At the end of the day, guys, all I have to do is set your plan, know your risk tolerance, and work with the knowledgeable professional who know what they're doing. So if you're in a market to buy your first investment property, whether it's a pre-construction home or a condo, or you want to buy a single family home anywhere in GTA, Golden Horseshoe, Hamilton, Kitchener-Waterloo, London, give our team a call. I've been personally investing and helping my clients for the last 15 years. You can reach me at 647-961-2639, or you can visit my website www.supermaxrealty.ca. And if you like today's video, go to my channel Real Estate Edge with Jimmy Singh. I post weekly videos there, give you lots of tips and pointers. So subscribe, like, or if you want to leave your comment, please do so. Thanks for watching. God bless you.